What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Yeah, fans in the UK have certainly had to get through a lot of wrestling this weekend. We've gone from this version of The Undertaker to that version of The Undertaker in just 2 nights. And now we still have Raw tonight. But WrestleMania 37's second night truly lived up to its nickname, the Showcase of the Immortals. But that doesn't mean everything went off without a hitch. Now, although Night 2 had far fewer bloopers than Night 1, which was affected by the bad weather which postponed the show, it still had a significant number of fails. And just before we get into this video, I've got to remind you that these are not all the bloopers. We covered Night 1's bloopers in a different video, and you can click that in the top right hand corner. But now we have some more, so join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 8 more bloopers and fails at WrestleMania 37. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 1. Michael Cole's incredibly descriptive dialogue. As noted in our video analysis of WrestleMania, Michael Cole's commentary was pure garbage, with the veteran announcer blowing the call in Night 1's main event by stating Sasha Banks kicked out of a pinfall attempt when it was clear that Bianca Belair had pinned her, winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. Cole continued during the opening match between Randy Orton and The Fiend when Alexa Bliss unveiled a giant jack-in-the-box. In one of the dullest displays of wordplay ever, Cole described the intriguing item as a box-shaped object. It was a box, Cole. A social media erupted with fans laughing at Cole's lifeless description of what turned out to be an exciting entrance for The Fiend, who sprang out of the giant jack-in-the-box and dived into the ring after Orton. It's bad enough listening to Cole's repeated, "That's gotta be it, new champion" calls, but this one exemplified why Michael Cole is the white bread of wrestling announcers. Given how many times Vince McMahon fired Jim Ross, it boggles the mind that Cole is still employed by the WWE when he's one of the most mediocre commentators in the industry. While he's not in a perpetually anaesthetized state like Byron Saxton, at least it seems that way with the Red Brand's commentator's goofy grin making him look like the WWE's announced version of superstar Eugene, he needs to go. Number 2. Slow motion splash. The Women's Tag Team Championship bout surprised a number of fans with its quality, as both challengers Tamina and Natalya and the champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler had good in-ring chemistry and were given time to put on a good match. However, the spot where Nia Jax hit a double high cross body block on Tamina and Natalya, it looked as if time stood still as the challengers stood and waited for Jax to hit her spot. Now, this isn't the first time something similar has happened with a spot of wrestlers diving onto multiple opponents, and it's a spot that some pundits think has become a cliche, not only due to overuse, but due to wrestlers to have to position themselves to catch an opponent, making it painfully obvious that they're waiting for the attacker to dive on them. Now, speaking of Jax, there was no reports of her injuring anyone in the match, although as we'll see, there was one minor injury which may have been a club record for Mrs. Potato Head, as it seemingly marks the 3rd match in a row where she hasn't recklessly wiped out a superstar. Number 3. Nia's naughty words. Speaking of Nia Jax, The Rock's cousin must have been feeling nasty during a tag title defense, as she was not only talking trash, but throwing in lots of profanity. Nia Jax told Tamina that she's King Kong's as well as telling Tamina, "You ain't shh." While it fit Nia's character to talk down to her opponents as she woman-handled them, her choice of swearing seemed extreme for the family-friendly WWE. Incredibly, her profanity wasn't censored by the WWE, as they didn't get there in time just to bleep it out, but it's certain to get scrubbed by Peacock during the replay. There are certain expletives that the WWE will let pass, but it's puzzling how Jax's profanity got past the WWE censors, which has no problem hiding attire malfunctions on Night 1. Number 4. Baszler blasts Natalya. Is Nia Jax rubbing off on Shayna Baszler? Well, fans have to be asking this after Baszler performed some more unsolicited dental work to an opponent. You'll likely recall the match a few weeks back where the Queen of Spades accidentally kicked out one of Asuka's teeth. Last night, Baszler almost repeated the feat when she threw a very stiff knee at Natalya, knocking Natalya senseless. While Natalya didn't lose any teeth, thankfully, she didn't escape unscathed and tweeted a picture of the damage with this message: "Teeth are good, a hole through my lip. Wrestling is real, and I'm unbreakable." Randy Orton even retweeted this saying #real, surely a response to Soulja Boy who thinks wrestling is fake. Now, we wish Natalya a speedy recovery after this painful spot. By the way, if you missed Night 2, be sure to check out our video recap and analysis of the show, and don't forget to share your thoughts on what happened. Number 5. The WWE Universe turns on Logan Paul and the WWE's crummy cover-up. It's not usual for the WWE Universe to boo a celebrity no matter how much they want them to be cheered, even though he's not a celebrity. But take for example Hulk Hogan, you could clearly hear the boos even though the WWE was piping in cheers. Well, this happened with YouTube celebrity Logan Paul, who the fans at Raymond James Stadium couldn't care less about and made their feelings very known. The crowd turned on Paul, booing him and chanting "Logan sucks." But to Paul's credit, he sold Kevin Owens' stunner like a champ. Although Logan was certainly no Bad Bunny when it came to his ring work, but the fans let Logan know they'd rather see him on YouTube than on the grandest stage of them all. The fans' reaction wasn't a blunder, but the WWE's weak efforts to cover the boos and chants with fake crowd noise only exacerbated the problem. On a brighter note, at least their sound effects team didn't accidentally pipe in Goldberg chants. That would have been a true Mania blunder. Number 6. The Sheamus Spill. Riddle's United States Championship defense against Sheamus was the power-packed slugfest fans expected, with both strikers knocking each other senseless. As noted in our recap video, the Celtic Warrior seemed determined to not only defeat Riddle, but destroy him. This made for a spectacular story in the ring and an unforgettable match between the two superstars. Sheamus' search and destroy mission led to a spot in the match where he went for white noise to Riddle from off the top rope. The high-risk move almost turned disastrous when Sheamus slipped off the top rope. Fortunately, Sheamus and Riddle didn't land wrong, and while it took Sheamus a moment to get his bearings, he hit the white noise. Still, it was a scary sight that had fans holding their collective breaths until Sheamus recovered. Regrettably for Riddle, he wouldn't be as fortunate as his opponent. Number 7. A bloody brogue kick. As mentioned, Riddle vs Sheamus was an intense match, with both superstars giving as good as they got. The match featured a number of smashing strikes, but also a number of clever counters, with the best coming late in the match. Sheamus went for a brogue kick only for Riddle to dodge it, countering by diving over the ropes and going for a springboard moonsault that might have ended the match. Unfortunately for the Ultimate Bro, Sheamus recovered in time to hit the brogue kick, clobbering Riddle square in the face. Sheamus recovered Riddle for the win, and Riddle's mouth was a bloody mess when the camera showed him dealing with the aftermath of the match. And given the intensity of their match, somewhat surprising that both men weren't bruised and bloody, as each one seemed to work stiffly. And for the fans wondering why Nia Jax gets so much grief for working stiff, it's one thing for two wrestlers to work stiff and deal with the consequences, and another for a lumbering oaf to be reckless in the ring with no regard for their opponent or any agreement they won't hold back in the ring. And number 8. The WALE lip sync. Wrestlemania featured a number of musical appearances, ranging from opening performances of America the Beautiful to The Miz and Morrison singing their single Hop Hop to rapper WALE performing Biggie's entrance theme. Whether you enjoyed the performances or felt that live entrances like Rhea Ripley's were enough to make your ears bleed, seriously, that was just noise to me. The WWE likes to spice things up by bringing in musical artists. However, in the case of WALE, it was painfully obvious that the rapper was lip syncing, which seems to defeat the purpose of performing live. It's bad enough when a performer lip syncs, but if they're gonna cut corners, at least do a good job covering it up. But there you have it guys, 8 more bloopers and fails of WrestleMania 37. Be sure to check out our first video on 12 bloopers and fails, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.